I want you to be able to see my whole body, like my practitioners or participants would be in class. But if you need details or something seems off, please let me know. Send me a message, and I, can kind of work from there, send you a video with details. But I just am making this very informal, just a way to help others, since I felt myself that there was not too much information out there, and why not add more, right? So we're just gonna pop right in. Like I said, I have my handy dandy laptop. So I just wanna make sure that I have my notes. And so what we're gonna do is, this is gonna be a two-part video. So I'm gonna start first with going through some stretches. You can think of other stretches yourself, of course, or make these and change these as you wish are made for your classes. But I just wanna go through some key notes here with the stretches is that, and with the poses really, is that when you're doing a pose or stretch in one direction, you always want to then go back and do it the other direction. So if you are going left or right, you want to go the opposite, right and left. If you're going front to back or back to front, then of course you want to do both sides to even out, which I'll show you with some of the poses. Or just to give an example, I am going to do some shoulder rolls. So I like to start mine towards the back, but if I do shoulder rolls towards the back, then I want to do it towards the front. Same, even if I make a combo, just like you would in vinyasa flow, where if you go through downward dog, you go down into plank, and then you do something on cobra or chaturanga, and you do all that, and then you have that focus on your right side. When you go to downward dog again and flow through plank or cobra and raise up into warrior or whatnot, you want to make sure you do that on the left side also, so the body feels balanced. Or if you're going into, cobra, then you might want to do a balasana, a child's pose after. So that same concept here, and pretty much that. That's pretty good. And different fun things to keep in mind. I'll just come back close for this part because this is pretty important. Is when you're going into aqua yoga classes, you sometimes want to have a theme for classes. Sometimes you don't. It's just kind of a fun free-for-all class. But some nice themes for classes or benefits of aqua yoga align with balance, focus, strength, promotion of blood flow and circulation, meditation, relaxation, being in the moment, connecting with nature, connecting with water, or resistance, so working on resistance training. And no matter if it's you or the participants in the class, one can make the stretches and or poses as active or as light, just based on the person. So for example, while showing tree pose, maybe the person is working on balance, so they just want to work on lifting up off their heels onto their toes. Let that be. If that's what the person wants to do, that's awesome. If someone else wants to take tree pose all the way up with a knee lift and then taking that knee out to side, just as awesome. So you want people to feel really comfortable and supportive by the water, in the pool. And then of course, like I might have mentioned earlier, aqua yoga can be slower or faster. So participants have time to really stretch, flow, and breathe. Some of the classes that I teach, members or participants, maybe they have something going on, maybe they have arthritis or something going on with balance or their muscles. So you just want them to feel supported and comfortable and welcomed. That's why it's nice to give variations. But like I said, make it your own. You can change poses, positions, or what have you, and just let your creativity take over. So like I said, we're gonna start with warm-ups. I'm just gonna back up again, just so you can see what I'm doing. I guess this is very informal. I don't know any other better way to do videos than just doing them like I'm literally talking to you in person. So the tongue twist and all. So we're gonna start with a warm-up, and I'm not gonna go through a whole flow or anything with these. I just want you to know what the move looks like. And then I'll list all the moves below, also with the time. So if there's a certain move or pose that you're interested in, you can just click on that pose or the time in the video and you can find it. So we're gonna start with head rolls, and it's just taking the head down in a circle, taking it around. I normally mention that this is a good time for the person to come into awareness with their breath, coming into the present moment. And when I start with my head rolls in one direction, I started them towards the right, but you'll be opposite of me if you do this at the same time. So then I would have the person or the participants come back to neutral, come back to center, take a moment to stop. And then we'll take our head rolls the opposite direction. So then they may take them to the left. And then once again, usually between every pose, I allow them to take a breath during the stretches or just take a moment. People can always bend the knees and unbend the knees if they want, or walk out the feet, or do whatever they want to with the other parts of their body during warm-up and stretches. So that's our head rolls. Next, we would get in to our shoulder rolls. So like I mentioned earlier, I like to take my shoulder rolls towards the back. And then they come to a gradual stop, and then they take them to the front. And once again, there's variations to everything. So someone can have their arms at their sides. They can bring their hands upon their shoulders and the elbows guide their shoulder rolls. Whatever feels good for them. And once again, they might take a little break, or you might move right into the next move. For us, that's gonna be, or for me, that would be backstrokes. So then I would take the whole arm. I would describe how the participants could start to incorporate their entire arm moving into a backstroke. Sometimes I say it's nice to leave their arms and hands out a bit wide or at an angle so that they don't get water in their eyes. Because if their arms go straight up above and they look up, water might fall in their eyes, but if their arms are at an angle, then there's less chance of that. And then of course, we would take the arms to front stroke. And then once again, they might calm down in between, take a break. And then another nice warm up is cat-cow, a standing cat-cow. Once again, arms can be placed wherever comfortable, whether hips or in front of thighs. So members are still be nice and stable in the pool. Their legs may be aligned and with their shoulders. They might have a little bend in their knee, they maybe not. They can take these with focusing on their center or incorporating their entire body, however, whatever feels comfortable to them. And then, as most instructors know, you just have that belly, of course, that comes forward as you inhale. Your crown and tail move back as you move into cow. And then, as you're inhaling, that belly button pulls towards the back. Maybe the knees bend, maybe that head drops. Pull in that belly button. That's your cat. And arms can be wherever it's comfortable for your participants. And also, I usually do, when I'm warming up, maybe about a minute, or maybe, anywhere between 7 to 10 circles or sways, or so you can go off of time, or you can go off of count, or maybe just what feels good. Maybe your cat-cows are really nice and slow. Everyone's breathing, they're taking their time. And then maybe you get into that third cat-cow and it feels good. You can feel the vibe of the class ready to move on to another move. Feel free, make it your own. And then we're gonna go into some more fluid cat-cows, which I like to call center circles. I know some people call them hip circles. So once again, hands can be wherever. I usually have them on the hips at this point, and then you just start to bring those hips forward, and then to one side, to the back, to the other side, to forward again. And this is your center or your hip circles. They can keep them nice and light, focus on center, or they can take them really deep to get a nice stretch. And then once again, you stop, and then you want to balance it out. So you may go the other way. And then come back to center. And then I just have a few more warm-ups. And like I said, if you have any questions, if you've done some of these, if you're looking for a longer stretch and warm-up, reach out to me. I have so many more variations and types of stretches and warm-ups that we do in the classes, but maybe I'll make another video, or there's just so many out there that can come to mind. So I just wanted to give some ideas and some insight for you. So next, we're gonna do our knee lifts. Now this particular, well really all of them, all the warm-up stretches and poses, you can use noodle that you have, or weights that you have, or the person can go up on the wall. So depending what is comfortable, at most gyms with pools, they have at least some type of prop. Noodles tend to be a popular one because they're very affordable to have, and you can get a whole bunch of them for a pretty affordable price. So if there's a noodle, your participants can have that noodle in their arms in front of them, and maybe they keep it close, and then maybe as they lift that leg, they push that noodle away to help them balance, and then they bring it back for the knee lifts. So that's a good warm-up, a nice knee lift to the front. You could do as many as what feels good, 3, 5, 7. Go through as many as feel good. And then of course you want to do it on the opposite side. Maybe that noodle is still moving, or maybe that person just has that noodle away from body as they lift up for their knee lifts. I always like to describe how the person is lifting that leg, how they want to balance on the opposite leg. Maybe that other stable leg has a knee bend. Maybe it's straight, whatever helps them to be comfortable. I describe how they start to lift off the heel first and then raise that leg up through the hip and the knee to go into their knee lift. Now, if it's someone who doesn't want to have a noodle, or they want to focus on their own body strength and balance, they could always just have their hands, and as that knee lifts, their hands go underneath their knee pit, or maybe it just wraps around the shin, and then they release, and then they lift it up. So that's a nice way to warm up also with the variation, or some people might want to hold on to the wall of the pool. That's fine also. And then the same for knee lifts out to the side. So if you do one side, you want to do the other. So your stabilized standing leg, that foot's going to be front and center. Your leg that's going to be doing the knee lift, that toe maybe is going to want to face outward towards the side, away from body. Once again, you could have your noodle, you can have your hands on hips, hands on the side of the pool, whatever is going to help them. You'll be standing outside the water, so this is a little bit, it may be a little bit easier for you to do without any sort of thing, but you can always have something to hold on to, whether it's a stool, if there's a nice heavy shelf next to you. I know for me, there's a nice heavy tall shelf that I can kind of place my hand on if I need help with balance. And then you just take that leg once again. You might start with telling them to lift up their heel, get a nice stretch, see how they feel. This is also a nice way to get a nice deep toe stretch. And then when they're ready, once again, they want to check in with that hip and start to lift it up. They don't have to lift that leg high. The goal of these side knee lifts is mobility, but also just opening up those hips, opening up that body. So they're front and center to start. Their body may twist a little bit towards that leg, that's fine. You're gonna open up that foot out to side, lift up, down, and they're gonna go at their own pace. Maybe they go slow, maybe they go faster. And then of course, they're gonna wanna do that on the opposite side. So the same thing, And they don't even have to go that high. Like I said, they might just want to work on opening up that leg, lifting up on the toes, and then bringing the foot down. Lifting up on the toes. Then when they feel comfortable, maybe they raise it up a little bit higher. So whatever is going to be comfortable for them. So many ideas. And then we have foot and heel and toe stretches. So I kind of mentioned that. You can lift up that heel, lift up on those toes. That's a nice heel and toe stretch in the water. You're going to want to do that on both sides. Your feet can be faced any way. Maybe the feet are faced forward, maybe they're faced out to side, whatever works for them. Another good foot or lengthening stretch is, I like to call it a diamond, because it's a triangle on the right side, and then you finish and close up and turn to a diamond after you've done the left. So what you would do is you would think about lifting up off that heel, getting a nice toe stretch, and then you lift up on the tip of those toes. If you choose, you're flexing that foot, those toes down to the floor, but you're keeping that foot on the floor. It's connected to the ground as you do that. Then once you lift up off that heel onto the toes, you lengthen that foot away towards the front, then you bring it back. And you can continue to bring it towards the front for a few, or you can take it out to the front, leave that foot nice and pointed away, and then take that foot out to side, and then take it to back, and then bring it back to center, and then you do the same on the opposite foot, lengthening through that foot. That's one option of diamond. Another option is to take that foot forward, lift that leg up, then bring it back down, and then take it out. Another option is stretching and lengthening through that foot, and bringing it back to center, then taking it out to side, bringing it out, and then bringing it back to center, taking it back, bringing it out to center. This is one of those poses again, or one of those warm-ups where maybe they have their noodle to keep them stable. Maybe the person focuses on balance without a noodle, or maybe they're on using the side of the pool to help them. So, and normally I teach my classes on the shallow end of the pool, or on the shallow side also, so that their head can safely always be above water. Just something I should mention. So this is the warm-ups, the same for diamond. Whatever you do on one leg, you want to do on the other. Make it your own. You could do foot circles, ankle circles, toe wiggles, whatever helps to make this warm-up wonderful. So like I said, this is video part 1 of 2. The next video, we are going to get into poses.